No Other Love, written by Divine G, narrated by Divine G.
Chapter 1. Denasia Whitman sat at her desk, reading and taking notes from a chapter in her biology textbook which dealt with amoebas and their evolutionary process. She suddenly heard the sound of keys jingling. Her head nervously rose from the pages. Denasia sat her pen down and focused her attention on the noise that came from down the hall right outside her bedroom she shared with her foster sister, Valerie. Her pretty little baby doll face and those enchanting brown eyes no longer had their youthful, playful-like aura. Seconds later, someone entered the fourth-floor project apartment. Denasia glanced at the alarm clock on the nightstand beside the bunk bed. Her heart rate increased when she saw it was 11:15. Oh no, the unconscious mumble escaped from her lips. She quickly turned to see if the bedroom door was locked. When she saw none of the locks were activated, she frantically shot out of her chair and raced to the door. Her 5'2", 105-pound slender frame moved gracefully across the room. She was dressed in a purple sweatsuit, and dangling from her neck was a leather necklace which had a matching medallion with Super Ninja written in yellow letters. After slamming the sliding bolt lock into place and turning the knob lock button, she sighed and went back to the desk. Denasia picked up where she left off. The sudden, excessive hard knock on the door caused Denasia to spring into a standing position, dropping her book to the floor. "Open up this damn door, girl." Kirk Shepard slurred. His beer belly wobbled as he tilted the bottle of Wild Irish Rose red wine up to his lips and took a huge gulp. The cheap wine bubbled in his stomach. Ever since he left the corner with his drinking partners after the liquor store closed, the alcohol had been telling him he had to treat himself to a piece of this pretty young thing tonight. "Go away!" Denasia shouted, trying to make her squeaky, childish-sounding voice appear threatening, but failed miserably at the attempt. "I'm warning you." "Come on now. Barbara and Valerie's upstairs. All I want to do is show you how to be a real woman." He giggled, violently rattled the doorknob, and banged harder on the door. Denasia hastily went to the top bunk and snatched a huge carving knife from under her pillow. The way she stood in the ready position, waving the weapon, she looked like a Zulu warrior princess. No one would have believed she was 17 years old. Growing up parentless in the New York State foster care system had its way of enhancing such inborn survival attributes, and Denasia was no exception to the rule. But her heart still raced nervously in her chest despite her constant exposure to these rape attempts. This time it would be worse because she could hear it in his voice. He was pissy drunk, and when he got that way, he became insanely bold. "Kirk, leave me the hell alone. I'm trying to study. I got a test tomorrow, and What do you say I just lick on it a little? I promise you'll like it." The thought of how sweet her young juices would taste made him drool. He wiped his mouth with the sleeve of his dirty navy blue jacket. As Denasia dragged her bookshelf in front of the door, she shouted, "I got my knife, and I swear to God, I will cut your ass again if you come in here. Now leave me the fuck alone." This made Kirk stop and think. He instantly caught a flashback of the time when Denasia cut his hand. He looked at the 6-inch scar on the palm of his hand, and the alcohol took control of his mind. "You bitch," he mumbled under his breath as the rage mixed with drunken delirium mounted. He began kicking the door with the sole of his worn-out black work boots, wobbling about intemperately. When the thunderous banging started, Denasia felt the knot of anxiety in her stomach transformed into hysterical fear. Each time her foster uncle Kirk kicked the door, the walls trembled violently, causing her to wince while making a flinching involuntary sound similar to someone being poked with a lit cigarette. This fear wasn't entirely linked to this rape attempt, since she'd learned how to handle the knife quite well. The root of her anxiety was the possible involvement of the police. If the neighbors called the police and the law got involved, she would be sent back to the institution away from Tislam, and that scared her more than anything. This catch-22 predicament was the reason why she never reported the numerous other rape attempts to the police. Denasia took a long, deep breath when she saw the door frame started to give under the grueling force of the pounding. With the knife trembling in her right hand, Denasia braced herself for the inevitable.